But yeah, next up, so after leaving PlayStation, Shuhei Yoshida's been opening up and talking about a lot of things that we've speculated for years with PlayStation, and he gives us some insight on it. And the first and foremost, what pissed me off, I've been pissed off and bitter about Factions 2 for years. I was one of those, I refused to buy The Last of Us Part 2 when they said that they were no longer attaching a multiplayer to the game. I was fucking pissed. I was like, nope, the game is only worth $30 to me. And I bought it at $30 and I was still disappointed. But let's not get into The Last of Us Part 2. But Shuhei Yoshida said, I played The Last of Us Online and it was great. It was a good video game that I personally would have paid money for up front, day one. I would have bought Factions 2 day one if it was his own game. Even though it should have been attached to part 2, because I know I would have had a lot of fun playing the game. The Last of Us 2 never happened, right? The exec suggests teams aren't being forced to make live service. But one of the biggest bummers of this entire generation was the cancellation of The Last of Us Online, or Factions as it's perhaps better known. Naughty Dog announced that it was working on a standalone version of the popular Last of Us multiplayer prior to the release of Part 2. Later teased the project multiple times, described it as incredibly ambitious, and even showed off concept art, but the online outing was eventually canceled in 2023 when the developer made the decision to focus on its single-player output instead.
Oh, fuck!
Fucking annoying, man. This shit, this is what makes me feel justified in leaving PlayStation, as PlayStation has deviated from what gamers want from them. I feel very justified in saying they do not actually want to give me what I want, so fuck you, I'm leaving. Yo, Mac Daddy, what's good, homie? So, speaking as part of an interview with Sacred Simples Plus, which is paywalled, executive PlayStation Studios boss Shuhei Yoshida revealed that he played the game and it was great. The idea of The Last of Us Online came from Naughty Dog, and they really wanted to make it, he explained. But Bungie explained to them that it takes to make what it takes to make live service games, and Naughty Dog realized, oops, we can't do that. If we do it, we can't make Intergalactic the Heretic profit. So that was a lack of foresight, bro. Imagine dropping a game that probably was genuinely going to be fun for once. All right, it's been a long time since Naughty Dog was genuinely fun. Imagine them canceling a game that likely, while would have had live service mechanics attached to it. Can't ignore that reality. Imagine him deciding to cancel a game that is genuinely fun for yet another divisive game that has people split down the middle with Intergalactic. So fucking sad. Intergalactic is a game I will not be buying. I will not be buying it. But Factions 2 I would have bought day one. I know, right? It makes your head hurt how retarded Sony is as a company, how ridiculous Naughty Dog is as a company, how stupid Bungie is, and how stupid Sony is to listen to them. Honestly, if Factions really took off, man, they should have just created a side developer or whatever you had to do to make it go, so that Naughty Dog could still pursue the things that they want to pursue. I don't see why they couldn't have like a side team specifically dedicated to Factions. Especially the reality is Factions was the most likely live service game that they had that would have taken off. I don't think anything else would have came close. Imagine being Druckmann today. May says, I won't be buying Intergalactic, not because I think the game will suck, but because there are people I refuse to support. And I don't blame you. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I don't understand why they don't expand and make separate teams for factions and another for Intergalactic. They already have multiple teams. They've had these projects have been in development simultaneously. Bungie wanted to remove all competition, maybe. I don't know. The fact that Sony couldn't just repackage factions as its own paid multiplayer experience that wasn't a live service is fucking sad. It's really, really sad. Sony destroyed Bungie. No, Bungie was already. You have to understand, both Sony buying Bungie didn't ruin Bungie. Bungie was already snake bitten. Bungie was already a poorly led development team even before Sony got a hold of them. The thing is, Bungie did a good job of hiding a lot of their fuck shit so that they looked clean enough for Sony to acquire. And then with that, Sony acquired a lot of their baggage, really. A lot of Bungie's baggage when they bought Bungie. But Yoshida continued that, to his knowledge, no first-party studio has been forced to make live service games. He noted that sometimes teams see the direction the company is headed and pitch their titles accordingly. From my experience, when studios see the company has a big initiative, they realize riding on that gives them a better chance of getting a project approved and supported, he explained. It's not like current Sony Studios boss Herman Hulst is telling teams they need to make live service games. It's likely mutual. So the teams are scared of basically shutting down because, I mean, Sony's done quite a bit of that. Look at Evolution Studios. So Sony's done quite a bit of that, even with Japan Studios. So these developers are like, well, let's make a live service game because if it takes off, like, we'll have infinite, like, basically they see it as we'll be needed forever, or we'll be needed for like the next 5 to 10 years, right? So I can understand that perspective, but it's not a good perspective. Bungie died after they stopped working on Halo. I don't know when you could say Bungie died, because I mean, Destiny, whether you like Destiny or not, Destiny ended up taking off. Faults and all, issues and all, right? Moving to California was a mistake for Sony. Yeah, exactly, Chiefin. When Activision owned Bungie, well, they technically Activision didn't own Bungie, but they worked together on Destiny, but yeah, they were partnered. I had to think about that for a second. I'm pretty sure that they were partnered. So when Activision and Bungie were partnered, Activision did have to stop Bungie from being greedy with their microtransactions and their bullshit. That is a fact. That is a fact.